My Little Avengers by Koolerkid. Chapter 13. Whee! Piggy cheered excitedly, waving her hose in the air enthusiastically.
Piggy, please. Flying is most difficult with an unruly passenger,
Thor grumbled.
Sorry, Thor. Colt. Thor isn't nearly as a fun name as Mac. Mac-a-tacka, mac-a-mac-a-tacka.
Piggy!
Sorry.
She wrapped her hose around the unicorn's neck again, snuggling up close as her friend flew along at a sedate pace.
How much longer until we're home, Mackie? I'm bored.
Just another few minutes, Piggy,
he said with a sigh. He had been looking forward to visiting his family again for a few days. But as much as he loved his little pink friend, she was an absolute terror on long trips. Big Mac had been reluctant to take a day off. Loki could strike at any time. Princess Luna had insisted, though, claiming he had needed time to spend with his family before the fight with Loki got too heated. Mac agreed, reluctantly, and as soon as Piggy had heard of it, she insisted on going with him. She missed the cakes, and she needed to check on Gummy, she explained. Which is why a trip that would have taken Thor a few minutes alone was taking nearly an hour, as Piggy couldn't withstand the ludicrous speeds Thor could reach. Big Mac wouldn't have minded, but Piggy was far too hyper to sit still for too long.
Hey, Thor?
Piggy said, her voice sounding unusually subdued.
Yes, Piggy?
Something feels funny.
Piggy sounded puzzled.
Feels kind of like my piggy sense, but not quite. Like when you've got a word on the tip of your tongue but can't quite remember it. It's making me feel all rumbly and tumbly inside, and I don't like it.
Thor turned back to look at his friend with concern.
Is it something serious? Perhaps you are just nervous for the long flight.
Maybe.
Piggy said slowly, before suddenly being interrupted by a loud rumbling from her stomach.
What? Never mind. I'm just hungry. Let's go get some food.
Thor laughed at his scare-brained friend and flew on.
I'm glad you're doing fair, Soren,
Spitfire said, giving her friend a hug. Soren laughed, hugging her back before laying down on the hospital bed.
Me too. The nurses here are nice, but I haven't had a decent slice of pie in weeks. I'll be glad to get out of here.
Spitfire just laughed at her gluttonous friend.
Oh, a lack of pie.
Certainly a more terrible fate than death by deranged mutant lunatic. You poor thing, you.
Soren just laughed. Get out of here, Chief. Your cult friend's waiting for you, and I've held you here far too long already.
Caramel's not my cult friend, goofball, Spitfire said as she got out the leaf. Yet. She added with a wink before trotting out the door. She glided out of the hospital, drifting along the air lazily. Ever since the Avengers' first successful flight, had been pretty quiet. She and Caramel have been spending a lot of time together during the downtime, while Thor vanished on some mysterious errand and Blue vanished into his lab. With Soren on the mend, her and Caramel were getting along wonderfully. The team's public support high, and no villains in sight. Things never looked better. She should have known better. The universe hates perfect days. Spitfire came up short, suddenly feeling dizzy and lightheaded. She landed, trying not to fall over. Was she having a vision? She closed her eyes and tried to focus. No, this didn't feel like a vision. It felt like that one time she overtaxed her powers against the Hulk and let her magic run dry. She opened her eyes and noticed another strange thing. There were no ponies in the streets. Just empty. They were just abandoned. Even the little stand selling hay fries on the corner was deserted. Where is every pony? Spitfire wondered aloud. As he got back in the air, as the dizzy sensation fizzled away, she ignited her maid's precaution. I sent them away. Came a hauntedly familiar voice behind her. Spitfire turned around to see a Pegasus with a bright red cloak and a deep orange mane. He was extremely skinny, even for a Pegasus, and his eyes held a haunted look. His cutie mark, a birdie comet, was what triggered the memory in Spitfire's mind. Blaze? Sonny Blaze, is that you? She asked, stunned. I haven't seen you in years. Not since... Since you kicked me from the Wonderbolts. Is that what you were trying to say? Blaze replied, not even attempting to hide the bitterness in his voice. I didn't get you kicked from the Wonderbolts, Spitfire said hotly. You got yourself kicked. Those Thanos could have gotten somebody killed, especially you. Shut up, Blaze roared, rising to the air. It's your fault, and now you'll pay. A bright green symbol appeared on his forehead, twisting as a snake in the ass. Oh no. Blaze, don't! Spitfire cried, but it was too late. Laughing maniacally, Sunny Blaze began to transform. sunny blaze, his bright mane turning black as midnight, as flames erupted from his mane and tail, covering his face in wings of fire. The flesh burned away, leaving nothing but a leering, burning skull and a pair of skeletal wings, though he didn't seem to impair his fighting ability at all.
I am no longer Sunny Blaze,
boomed the skeletal pony.
That stallion is dead. I am his ghost, a spirit of vengeance, the Ghost Flyer!
Spitfire took a step back, her mouth falling open. Oh, Sunny, she whispered, as her own fire spread over her burning armor. What did you do? Ghostfire laughed, a cold, haunting sound.
What indeed? I have taken the gift fate mistakenly bestowed upon you, and have taken it for myself, though I have made some modifications.
The skull that was once Sunny Blaze grinned broadly at Spitfire. Not that it had done much choice. Its eyes glowed with an unholy light.
And now, Spitfire, Firebird, it is time to meet your end!
Spitfire barely had time to react as the shouting mockery of a pony launched itself at her, its skeletal mouth opening wide to reveal sharpened fangs in the place of teeth. In a rush of flame, Spitfire shot straight up out of harm's way. On instinct, she spun and shot a burst of flame down at her foe. It washed against him harmlessly, eliciting a hollow laugh.
You want to play with fire, little Fitty? Fine, my turn!
The Ghostfire threw his front hose at Spitfire, launching a bright red flame at her. Spitfire reached downward with her own flame, trying to seize control with it, but it eluded her. The flame hit her dead center, and even though her coat was covered in a living flame, she could feel the Ghostfire's fire burn at her very core of her being. Spitfire didn't even know she lost control of her wings until she crashed. Didn't know she was screaming until she ran out of breath. The laughing skeleton descended upon her, its eyes locking with her.
My fire burns at the very soul, foolish mare. Mere mortal fire cannot stand against it. Now, to pay penance for your crimes.
His eyes glowed brightly, and something seemed to pass between him and Spitfire.
All your crimes, your doubt and guilt and shame. Let it all be revealed by my penance star!
Something not unlike her physics came over Spitfire, a real sight fading away as a nightmarish montage of memories began. She remembering allowing Sora to get hurt, getting suddenly kicked for the team, the time she led Rainbow Dash in the cold to take air photos at the gala, that one filly whose dreams she accidentally crushed, telling she was a weak flyer. Hi, Lightning Dust! That time she stole a piece of candy as a filly. Every crime, every hidden shame and buried guilt Spitfire carried around with her surged up now, and consumed her mind, as her vision faded to black. The last thing she heard was the Ghostfire's hollow laughter, ringing in her ears. Prince Blueblood was once again hard at work on his workshop. He was testing a new combination of electromagnetics and levitation spells that would finally make flight in his suit effortlessly and errantly effective. He found the idea incredibly appealing. Randy stood behind him, chuckling like a disapproving mother hen.
You can't keep isolating yourself away like this, darling. I swear, you're worse than Twilight the way you never leave this dreary workshop.
I know, my darling,
Blueblood replied distractedly.
but I'm so close to unraveling this mystery. Imagine all the good I could do.
Oh, that is it!
Blue gave a startled yelp as he technically yanked away from his workbench and spun to face Randy.
Blue, it's wonderful that you just dedicate yourself to aiding others so much, but take it for the element of generosity yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you'll never be able to care for others. It's okay to be a bit selfish once in a while. You're a prince. Pamper yourself!
Blue blinked at the sudden onslaught.
I suppose I have been working rather hard, and everybody else is taking a vacation,
he said slowly, as the fervor that consumed him as he worked faded.
Yes, I suppose some relaxation is in order. I could use the break.
Randy's smile was as radiant as he reached the blue blood from her magical grip.
Excellent. I've put it a day in the spa already. I'll go fess it up and be right back. You clean up here, but don't you dare get wrapped up in another project. I know how you get.
Blue Blood shook his head in amusement. Of course she already had the spa day scheduled. That mare had him wrapped around her hoof, and they both knew it. Not that he really minded.
Of course, my dear. I'll see you in a moment.
Good. See that you do.
Verity said, trotting out of the room. Blue Blood turned to his workbench, his tools beckoning him to continue working. He ignored their siren call, determined to make the most of his day with Rarity. Such a beautiful mare. She'd been so very kind to him, She didn't start to attention. He began putting his equipment away, though he couldn't resist making a quick adjustment to a misaligned sapphire. He didn't bother to turn around as he heard hostess coming through the workshop.
Ready already, Reddy. Or did you forget something? I'm afraid Rarity won't be doing this,
Came a male voice, startled Blue Blood.
She's taking a small nap, so we business ponies can talk.
Blue Blood spun around and came face to face with a familiar unicorn. He had a jet black coat and was completely bald of any mane, though his tail was light gray. His cutie mark was a gray clockwork gear, matching his tail and cold gray eyes.
Obsidian Shade,
Blue Blood said, his tone polite, but distaste on his face. He never liked the pony, and it was not just due to his arrogant distaste of commoners. Shade was a pony who had built himself one of the largest manufacturing companies in Equestria from the ground up. While Blue Blood could respect the amount of effort put into the endeavor, especially now, Shade used tactics that even the most backstabbing, treacherous members of the Carolina nobility considered dirty. He was a disreputable pony, the kind no respectable pony would willingly associate.
To what do I owe the pleasure? I've missed that subtle arrogance,
Obsidian Sage said with a laugh.
Oh, the significant pleasure. Very cute.
He shook his head slowly.
I always hated ponies like you. Hypocrites, all of you. Looking down on me like you're somehow better than me, because you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Well, now it's time to show you just how superior I really am.
Blue like glass, as he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his chest, collapsing to the floor. He glanced down at the cord diamond embedded in his heart. His eyes widened. The glow was flickering and dimming, and still the magic were being drained.
Oh, don't worry,
Blue Blood said casually. Blue Blood looked up and gasped as he saw the brilliant green symbol of Loki etch itself on the bald unicorn's forehead.
I'm just borrowing a bit of energy for my own. Everything you built with the money you stole from ponies like me. One good theft is another, wouldn't you say?
Sage's horn lit up, levitating a diamond just like the one Blue Blood had in his chest. It was glowing brightly, just like the core diamond. Blue Blood climbed to his feet as his core diamond ceased flickering and resumed its steady glow.
You stole my magic,
he whispered, his eyes wide.
How is that even possible? Yes, no, I stole,
Obsidian said with a wide grin.
I also have some earlier schematics in that armor of yours. And now that I have a power source, well, let's see how well it works, shall we?
Suddenly, the door of the workshop burst open as a suit of jet black armor flew in. Blue Blood summoned his own armor, but he was too slow. Even as his own red armor was assimilating itself, Obsidian's Shade was already encased in a massive steel behemoth, bristling with gemstone weaponry.
Blue Blood, meet the Ironmonger!
Sage's voice came out distorted as through the enormous armor speakers.
Now, time to end your own hypocrisy.
He placed the glowing core diamond replica in the empty slot in the monker's chest. A loud hum filled the room as his weapons charged up. Blue armor finally finished assembling, but it was too late. A jet of blue energy slammed into his chest, sending him backwards into the heavily reinforced wall. Blue Blood struggled to his hose, but the once larger ironmonger stomped on him, driving him to the floor.
Unhand me, you ruffian!
Blue Blood tried to command, struggling beneath the iron hoof.
See? This is what I mean,
Sage said, his voice sounding unnecessarily calm and composed beneath the distortion.
Ruffian! Peasant! Lower class!
The ironmonger's mental face filled Blue Blood's vision.
You claim to be trying to improve, but really? I think you're just trying to make yourself feel superior again. You'll never change. You're an arrogant, inbred snob. It's just your nature. No, I'm getting about reality. Ha!
Obsidian sounded genuinely amused.
Yeah, the hopeless romantic. Forever chasing after her Prince Charming. She's just as blind as you are, hopeless fool.
The face moved out of Blue Blood's limited field of vision, to be replaced by the white glow from a crystal emission cannon, such Blue Blood had discarded as too violent a weapon.
Now, go to sleep.
There was a bright flash, and then darkness. Caramel felt like a Pegasus, floating down the streets of Carolot. He and Spitfire were going on their first date today. He was so happy, he felt like he might explode at any moment. The sight of a large muscular pony bouncing along the street turned some heads, but Caramel didn't notice. He had a date. Okay, so maybe it wasn't exactly a date. Neither he or Spitfire actually called it a date. Since Spitfire had been to Camelot many times before, so he had offered to play tour guide. They planned to get some food at her favorite restaurant, then go sightseeing. That was a date, right? Caramel wasn't exactly certain whether or not it counted. He'd never really gone on a date before. He thought it counted, at least. He agonized for some time whether or not he should buy Spitfire some flowers, so he consulted on all the fronts he could contact. Big Mac, a pony who was like an older brother to him. Prince Blueblood, not necessarily a bad cult once he got to know him. He had plenty of experience with the mares. And Rarity, who was a mare herself, and knew how they thought. He even talked to Captain Bulwark, who Caramel had come to see something as a second father figure, though the older pony had little advice to give on matters of romance. Eventually, he took the advice of both Rarity and Blueblood and decided to provide her a single rose. He finally reached the florist shop, still grinning happily. He trotted cheerfully down the door when a voice from behind him gave him pause. "Excuse me, El Caramel." The voice had a thick Braylon accent, which was rather odd. Braylon was miles from Camelot. Caramel turned to see an earth pony about an inch taller than him, pale coat and blonde mane. His eyes were bright blue, and the key mark was an odd symbol Caramel didn't recognize, like a spiral that had been squared off. "Pardon me, Herr Caramel, but you're the one they called Captain Equestria?" Caramel felt a sensation like an electric shock go through his body. The identities of the Avengers were meant to be a state secret, though not much could be done in the case of Spitfire being a celebrity. Heck, not even the other Avengers knew the identity of Thor looking at his mortal guise, as he called it. "How did you know that?" Caramel asked, automatically assuming an aggressive stance, holding the ground. Excellent. I was hoping I had the right pony. One moment, please." The strange pony smiled eerily, and Caramel suddenly felt very weak. His legs buckled beneath him. He suddenly recalled the moment the Rebirth Project had begun his transformation, where then it felt like the sun dawning on him. He now felt like the sun was setting, the power waning. What are you doing?" Carol tried to ask, feeling his odd stutter return. He looked at his mysterious attacker, and gasped at the symbol of Loki trace itself across the stallion's forehead in bright green. "No!" "Yeah, Captain," the stallion said with a cruel laugh. "You see, I have always believed in the power of destiny. Some ponies are destined for greatness, some for failure. Some are simply naturally superior, others only fit to be their servants." Caramel was secretly getting back to his hose, feeling his strength slowly returning, but he doubted it would be fast enough. "I am a superior pony. I was born with greatness in my veins. My future of superior breeding, superior intelligence, strength over body and will. The power of the Rebirth Project was meant for a pony like me, not an inferior pony such as you." The pony began to change, his already muscular body growing to mass even exceeds Caramel's. His coat turned a bright red, and as Caramel watched in horror, his face began to distort, sinking inward to a grotesque, skull-like shape. Caramel began to wish dearly he hadn't left his shield back in the mansion. You're wrong!" he proclaimed, feeling his strength return. His stutter, however, somewhat ruined the moment. Stupid stutter, choosing the worst possible moment to return. "I used to be a failure, but now I'm not. I've got better. I had... Ha!" The grotesque skull face snorted at him. "You should not think because you've had a few days of good fortune you can escape your destiny. I was destined for greatness, you for failure. Nothing any pony can do will change this. It is the way the world is, Captain. You should accept this, though it does not matter in the end. Either way, you shall fall." "No, you're wrong," Caramel said, but the Red Skull's words were striking home. Was he just deluding himself? Was he really Caramel, the failure, doomed to keep trying and never succeeding, to pursue his dreams, pursue Spitfire, and never attain them? "No, you merely wish to be me," the Red Skull said, slowly lashing out with a hoof. The blow was much stronger than anything Caramel could have imagined, sending it crashing through the window of the flower shop. Ponies began to panic, running for the back exit. Certainly, Captain. There is no genie to grant your wish. Caramel slowly got back to his host, his eye buried in determination. You shouldn't have pushed me into that flower shop, he said, stamping his hoof against the floor. Grow! The flower pots around the store slowly exploded with thin, forming signs, launching themselves towards Red Skull. To Caramel's horror, however, the monster immediately laughed, the vines withering away before they even touched them. Finish court. I have your magic, remember. I too can feel the power of the earth in its plants. However, where you give energy and give life, I take the energy for myself. To sacrifice others for your kind is why I am great. And you, he launched himself towards Caramel, you are nothing! Caramel was fast, but Red Skull was faster. His hose collided with Caramel's head. Then everything went dark. As evening approached, Thor came to a landing before the Avengers mansion. Piggy still was yammering away.
And then I said, Pirates, are you nuts? Over here.
He hopped off Thor's back.
Like Odin!
Thor whispered under his breath. Piggy was a great friend, but he was best taking in small doses. So he headed for the front door of the mansion and stopped suddenly.
Pikey, do you feel that?
Feel what?
Piggy asked breezily, bouncing for the front door. Suddenly, she was stopped by a powerful, sudden shudder striking her bottle.
Ooh! Oh, that.
Is it okay? Thor asked warily, raising Mjolnir, as preparing to attack at any moment.
Yeah, I think so.
Piggy frowned.
Why did it take me so long to notice?
It matters not. Loki has infiltrated our headquarters. Stay here, Pikey!
Thor said, advancing toward the door.
Friends always stick together.
Piggy insisted, bouncing along beside him.
I'm coming.
Thor turned to argue, only to be met with Piggy's determined stare. Piggy might be a crazy, scarabée goofball of a pony, but very little could do to stop her from doing whatever she set her mind to. She was something of a force of nature that way.
Farewell, Thor said with a sigh. But be careful and stay behind me.
Piggy nodded sullenly. Together, they entered the mansion. The entry hall had been transformed into a makeshift throne room. A long carpet ran from the door to the stairs at the end of the hall, where a throne sat. To the side of the throne lay the defeated members of the Avengers. Spitfire lay curled in a ball, crying gently, guarded by a pony with a burning skull in place of a head. Blue Blood twitched constantly, apparently muttering to himself. His guard was a massive suit of armor, with eyes that glowed bright red. In contrast, Caramel was completely still, staring off into the distance dully, with a pony with a face like a bright red skull standing nearby. What truly drew Thor's attention, however, was Loki, lounging in an ornate throne at the foot of the stairs. Trixie leaned to his side, smirking brightly.
Hello, Thor.
Loki said casually.
So nice of you to stop by. I have been waiting a long time to speak to you again.
Brother.